Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Ask Coach Marie. I'm Marie O'Neill, founder of Padma Life Coaching and your host on this series. This is the place where you ask a question and I give my unique opinion as a life renewal coach, astrologer, and past life regression facilitator. Please know that I am not a therapist and I will never tell you what you must do. Each week on Friday, a new video is released with me answering 2 questions from the viewers. I also talk about various other life renewal topics. So let's get started with the questions for this week. Our first question comes from Aurora, who is in Park City, Utah. Aurora says, I graduate high school this year and head off to college this fall. I've never been away from home for more than a couple of weeks at a time when I visited my cousins or grandparents. I don't know what to expect. I'm getting homesick and haven't even left. Can you give me any advice on how to handle being away from home for such a long time? Thank you, Aurora, for asking that question. Congratulations also on finishing high school and going off to college. This is a major accomplishment. When you are going off to college and you haven't been away from home a whole lot, it takes some adjusting, some time. I'm not able to give you the amount of time that it's going to take for you to adjust, but it really shouldn't take longer than, say, 3 to 6 months. You'll find that slowly you'll start to acclimate. If you've ever moved as a child, think about how long it took you to get used to your new home. It can take a little while, but you slowly do start acclimating. There's some things that you can do to help yourself. And of course, you want to make sure that you take some things from home with you to college. I know you're going to take some of your personal items, but you want to take something from the house too, to remind you of the house, to help you get comfortable and have your surroundings look similar in some ways as it does at home. You might think that's counterintuitive, but it really does help you to become comfortable in a new space. The other thing is, if you're going to have a roommate, that's going to help you get acclimated, because what you want to do is get acclimated to your new environment. When you are going to classes and you meet people, hopefully you will start to meet new students and start creating a network of people that will help you also acclimate. It doesn't mean that you will never want to go home again, acclimating to the new environment, but does mean that you will become more comfortable with the new environment. So as you start to develop friends, as you start to explore the area around you, hopefully you will do that. Start some, going out to some different venues and places in the community of where you are going to be living. That will help you. See if you can enlist the help of your parents in sending you care packages from home too, because it's amazing what a care package does. It really warms the heart and it helps you to keep that connection going in a material way with home, because you don't want to lose that connection. You just want to add the new environment of your school as a place where you also feel comfortable. So going off to school, it's a challenge for a lot of people, and in particular, people who haven't been away from home very much. So make sure that, you start developing friends, you start enjoying different groups, different social organizations, join some groups if you can. Start exploring the community that you live in. Take something from home to make you feel at home in your new environment. Maybe take some of your plants if you have plants, or a favorite statue or something like that. Also, make sure that you continuously talk to your parents and your other siblings and your friends who are still in the community where you live. That will help you. It is a rite of passage to go off to school, a way that a lot of us choose to grow and to mature. And that's what you were doing. And I wish you well. Please email me and let me know how you're doing, or come back and put a comment in the comment section down below. Our topic today is Goddess Eris. And I'm talking about Goddess Eris at the request of, you're probably wondering what that light is. Well, that's a tree outside the window that is moving and the sunlight is going through. So it looks like an SOS sign or something like that. But we're talking about Goddess Eris today. Goddess Eris is considered the goddess of discord. In Greek mythology, she's called Eris. In Roman mythology, she's called Discordia. And she is the goddess of discord. There is no one here on earth who knows all there is about any of the goddesses or the gods. I mean, we only know what we are capable of integrating at any one given time about the various deities that exist, the various energies that exist. Eris was recently discovered in the sky. And, it's fascinating how the asteroids and the planets get their names. But Eris has a myth associated with her from Greek mythology. And of course, in Greek mythology, it's Eris. In Roman mythology, it's Discordia. The myth for Eris is that there was a wedding taking place in Mount Olympus between two of the deities. And Eris was not invited because it was assumed that she would cause problems. She, of course, was not happy about not being invited. And in retribution, she had a golden apple with the words "for the fairest." She threw the ball or the apple into the window, into the party, and three of the goddesses saw the golden apple: Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. Each of them have their attributes and their qualities, each of these goddesses. What they did is they took the ball or the apple to Zeus or Jupiter and said, "Hey, who should this ball go to? It says for the fairest. Which one of us is the fairest?" Well, Jupiter didn't want to have anything to do with this, so what he did is he enlisted the help of Paris, who was a human, and said, "Hey, have Paris decide who the fairest is." Paris, being a human, of course, all humans are fallible and are subject to different weaknesses. And we're about to find out what Paris's weakness is. So Hera offered him a wonderful gift. Athena offered him wisdom, I believe. And Aphrodite offered him the most beautiful woman in the world. Well, what do you think he chose? He chose the most beautiful woman in the world, who happened to be Helen of Troy, who also happened to be married. And so thus we have the Trojan War. Now, yes, Eris is the planet of discord. And if she is operating in your chart in a negative way or through the shadow side, that discord is not going to come up in a good way at all. Each of us has Eris. Most of us have Eris in Aries. Actually, I would say everyone who is on Earth today has Eris in the sign of Aries, because she has an orbit of more than 500 years. It takes more than 500 years for her to orbit the sun. So she spends a heck of a lot of time in one sign. She spends a heck of a lot of time in one sign, which is why all of us have Eris in Aries. And Aries is a warrior sign. As a matter of fact, Eris's brother is Mars, the god of war. Why is Eris about discord? Now, mind you, Eris's orbit is out further than Pluto. Pluto was discovered in 1930, and Pluto is about our wounds, our psychological wounds. My view is Eris is really about our authentic power. Authentic power, not manpower or human power. It's our authentic power. And thus, we really do need to look at what that looks like for each individual. When she is the goddess of discord, sometimes if she's healthy, she's operating to change things. She's operating to help us see the folly of what it is we're doing. I mean, think about what we have manifested now. The discord that we are dealing with is absolutely horrendous. So what is she trying to show us? She's really trying to show us that we're all the same. We need to work on our shadow. And she's doing that by putting things in our way so that we can look at this shadow and hopefully heal it so that we can get to our authentic self. She's constantly showing us who we are through discord. And whether she's operating through the shadow or the non-shadow, that is determined by each of our level of consciousness. I do believe that we're going to continue to learn about Eris as we are or have with the other planetary figures. I believe that as time goes by, we will learn more and more. And as I said, I don't believe that anybody here knows everything about her or everything about any of the goddesses for that matter. But that's just a little bit on Eris. And remember, each of us have her in Aries in our chart. She's in a particular house, and she is aspecting different signs and planets in our chart. So we are giving discord, and we are also receiving discord from other people. An example is I have it in my 7th house of relationships. And of course, wherever I've lived, I've sown discord, not intentionally, but just by the fact of being a minority in a place where there are very few minorities, or even being in a place where the religious belief system was quite different than my own. So just being who I am, I sowed discord. And the purpose, though, was to have the other people who I was encountering be more open-minded and drop some of the prejudice. And then for me, on my end, I needed to have more compassion. I needed to see these groups differently. And so it works both ways. In any event, that is what I wanted to tell you about Goddess Eris. I will revisit this subject as I learn more. But for now, that's it. Let's go ahead and get going with the final question. The final question comes from Tess, who is in Cleveland, Ohio. Tess says, I know this might sound like a crazy question, but I'm asking it anyway. I've been married for 42 years, and I dearly love my husband. I've cooked more meals than I care to mention, and I'm tired. The problem is my husband is cheap, and he doesn't see the value of eating restaurant food when he can eat at home. I'm thinking of going on strike. Do you think he would then get the message? I think he would get the message, actually, Tess, if you went on strike. And I applaud you for even thinking about going on strike and doing it. My suggestion is to maybe try it and see what happens. Maybe try it for a week and see what he does. When you have someone who you've trained this way, because you trained him to expect you to cook. You maybe enjoyed cooking, and maybe that gave you pleasure to see him happy, and all that is wonderful. But now you want to change the rules, and that is okay too. It's also understandable that he is not open to changing the rules. That doesn't mean the rule can't be changed or shouldn't be. You have to approach it, though, in a healthy way. What you want to do is sit down with him, if you can, and work out some type of compromise. Maybe you cut back on cooking for the week. Maybe you cook twice a week. If he is now the monetary part of it, I'm assuming that you have the funds to eat out, but he just doesn't want to because of his value system where money is concerned. With a husband who doesn't want to change, sometimes you do have to take drastic measures. I would sit down and have that conversation first and let him know what it is that you need to maintain your sanity, to maintain your well-being. It's important that he know that. And see if you can come up with some type of alternative to you cooking all the time. This is something that you can do over the course of several conversations, or you can do it with just one conversation and then implement it. Whatever it is the two of you come up with, implement it immediately the next day. The cooking situation has to change. So that means that you have to set a boundary and you have to be able to hold that boundary with him. Find out not what is acceptable to him, but know what is acceptable to you or for you. Before you sit down and have this conversation with him, make sure you know what your minimum is as far as what you will do and the maximum. So for example, with you being tired of cooking, maybe you don't want to cook more than 3 days a week. Then that's your maximum. And then the minimum, of course, is 1 day a week. But, you want to set out parameters for yourself and then see if you can discuss them with him. If he is not amenable to that, then you have to know where you're willing to go from here. Are you willing to go on strike and not do any cooking? Are you willing to engage in that war? It may be worth it to engage in that war so that you get what you need. Maybe he needs to take cooking classes and take on some of the cooking himself. If he wants to do that, then allow him to do that. And if he does, do your best not to criticize what it is he cooks if it isn't up to your standards with the taste. So I hope that answers your question. Please comment below and let me know, or email me and let me know how it all turns out. Once again, thank you. Thank you to everyone for watching this video. Please send your questions to padmacoach@icloud.com. That's padmacoach@icloud.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click that little bell to be notified of new videos when they are coming out. So like and subscribe to the YouTube station. And that really does help me with the algorithms. One other thing, I am producing a virtual healing retreat, which is happening on June 18th and 19th. I will put information below about that retreat. It's going to be a wonderful retreat. There's 5 presentations, helping you to have the tools that you need to work with yourself. The theme is healing with the cosmos. So I will get information to you about that retreat. Thank you once again for watching this video, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.